Alright YouTube, what's good? Gino checking back in for another video today, and today I'm going to bring you guys through one of my upper body workouts. Now I have two separate upper body workouts. Workout A is more focused towards the flat bench press, and this workout that I'm going to show you guys today is more focused towards the incline bench press and the overhead press. Now typically I like to focus on strength training on my compounds, since I personally believe that's the best way to go, you know, if you want to increase your muscle size as a natural athlete. But on this particular day I like to really focus on hypertrophy training. Now I'm not doing crazy stupid high reps or anything, especially on the compound lifts. I like to focus on sets of 7, for example. I'm going to show you guys all the exercises that I do in this workout, the sets, the reps, the reason why I do it, some tips on form. So without further ado, let's start the video. Using some anabolic steroids before the workout. Put it in safely, man. Put it in safely.
Good scoop. One scoop.
Ooh. One scoop. Yeah, man. Put it in, man.
So nice.
Powder of gains. Smoke of gains. Let's make some gains, man.
I see blue red.
Alright, what's going on guys? In this video I want to guide you all through one of my upper body workouts. Now I have two upper body workouts, one which is more centered towards the flat bench press and the other being more focused on the incline bench and the overhead press. Now this workout will focus on the latter one. Alright, the first compound exercise of this particular workout is the incline barbell press, which primarily targets the upper chest. Now since this is a compound movement for the chest, there are a few things you should focus on to perform it correctly. Retract your scapula and dig your shoulders into the bench. Keep your shoulders on the bench when you erect the weight, which is something I will cover later on in this video. And utilize a full range of motion, meaning touch your chest with the bar and fully lock out at the top of the movement. Now keep your elbows tucked, so don't flare them out to your side, since this will put your shoulders at a lot of risk for injury. Now for this exercise I did 5 sets of 7 repetitions, from which I did 90 kg on the first 2 sets and 80 kg on the last 3 sets. Now moving on to the first back exercise of the workout, which is the close neutral grip pull down. Now what I really like about this exercise is that I can get a tight contraction and a full stretch on my lats. Now for this exercise, pull the handle towards your lower chest to fully contract lats, since the lats' primary function is shoulder abduction and extension, with abduction not being a function in this movement, meaning you have to get your shoulders in a stretched position to fully contract the lats. Now for this exercise I did 4 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions, so we're not going too heavy, but simply heavy enough so that the 10 to 15 reps are achievable. Alright, next up is the overhead press as the compound movement for the shoulders. Now here we did 4 sets of 7 to 8 repetitions. Now I personally always like to mix up my shoulder training between heavy in the 5 repetition rep range and somewhat lighter in the 7 to 8 rep range to get the best out of both worlds when it comes to the overhead press. Now some tips for this exercise are: grip the bar just outside of your shoulders, so just outside of shoulder width. Squeeze your glutes when pressing the weight up to stabilize your core. Press the weight fully up and stick your head through the bar as you initiate the press, and let the bar travel and rest on the upper part of your chest, and then just repeat that for the duration of the exercise. Now the OHP is definitely the king of all shoulder exercises, and it's also the only front delt exercise that I perform personally. Right, the second chest exercise is the chest press machine. Now since I already did the incline barbell bench press, I like to throw in an exercise that focuses primarily on the lower part of my chest, or just the back major muscle in general. Now with this exercise and for every other chest exercise, it's really important, and I literally cannot stress this enough, to retract your scapula before you begin the exercise. This will save you a lot of shoulder injuries in the future, trust me. Now what I really like about this exercise is that it allows you to really focus on the chest, since you don't have to use your stabilizing muscles as you would have to do with the dumbbell press and the barbell press. Now focus on a controlled negative and an explosive positive of the movement. Alright, the second back exercise is the wide grip row. Now the reason I do a wide grip row instead of a neutral close grip row is because I already did the close grip pull down. So I personally like to stick to one wide grip exercise and one close grip exercise for my back training in general. Now what I like to do here is let my scapula protract at the end of the movement to stretch out my back, and then initiating the movement into scapular retraction again. Now that supposedly targets more of the trapezius, since you protract and then retract the scapula constantly during the movement. Now those were all the main movements. Now we're hopping over to the isolation work. Now the first being the side lateral raise with the cables. Now I love doing these with cables since it will give you constant tension on your lateral delt throughout the entire range of motion. Now I do perform that with dumbbells from time to time, but this is the way I currently prefer to do side raises. Now with this exercise, do not let your arms go above 90 degrees, since this will put more emphasis on the trap muscles, which is something you don't want when trying to isolate the lateral deltoid. Now you don't need a crazy amount of weight for this exercise, so keep it light, nice and controlled. Pause at the top of the movement and slowly let the delt stretch out. Alright, this is a superset, starting off with the chest fly and immediately going to the rear delt fly. Now the reason I like to do this superset is because one, it's a machine that's almost always taken, so once you have it you better use it fully, and second of all because it's convenience. Now since it is an upper body workout, you train both your chest and your delt, so why not superset it, am I right? Now for the rear delt fly, focus on keeping your scapula protracted. When you retract your scapula with this exercise, your back will do most of the work. By keeping it protracted, you will isolate more of your rear deltoid, which is basically what you want with this exercise.
So for chest flies, I see so many people doing the wrong thing, and they always complain that they have like shoulder issues and stuff. Because here's what most people do. They grab the handles, they go like this, putting the shoulders way forward, rounding the shoulders. What you have to do instead is, before you begin the movement, unrack them, shoulder blades back, into the bench, traps down, and then initiating the movement. You see that you stick your chest out way more, actually contract the chest instead of overstretching your shoulders. So if you have shoulder issues, try that out because it might really help.
Right, and here comes the arm work. Now for triceps I do two exercises, this being the first one, which is the overhead extension. Now the overhead extension primarily targets the long head of the tricep, which is the biggest part of the tricep. Now this head gets activated the most when the shoulder is in a flexed position, hence the exercise being overhead. Now I personally don't really like to go that heavy on this exercise, since I'll start to feel that mostly in my elbows. So I keep it moderately light but heavy enough so that I can actually feel the muscle work. And the second tricep exercise is the rope pushdown. Now a big tip for this exercise is, when pulling the rope apart when pushing the weight down, pull the handles towards your body. Now this will put the triceps in a fully contracted position and makes you get the most out of this exercise. Now you can see me doing it here, I'm squeezing the rope towards my body at the bottom of the movement, and trust me, it feels amazing. Right, the last exercise of this workout is supinating bicep curls. Now, I typically like to perform a supinated curl, meaning you keep your palms towards the ceiling for the whole time, and a hammer grip exercise. But if there's one exercise that does both, quite nice as well, is the supinating bicep curl. Now begin the movement in a neutral grip, and as you curl the weight up, supinate your wrist, or in other words, twist your hand inwards to fully contract the biceps. Then perform the negative in a supinated positioning as well to fully stretch out the biceps.
Alright guys, and that is it for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to smash that thumbs up button, because it really helps out the channel grow. If you thought this video was helpful, please consider sharing it with your friends, so that they kind of know what an upper body workout looks like. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out guys, and peace out. See you in the next one. All kinds of different action,